So stabilizers serve a couple purposes. In the past, you'd see a lot of rubber on a stabilizer, and the reason for that was noise suppression or vibration dampening. With today's modern bows and the parallel limb design, most of that's taken care of before we even put anything onto the bow. So the more important function of a stabilizer then becomes balance. The Western bow hunter with a quiver loaded full of arrows and a sight and a rest and everything mounted onto the one side of the bow, you get a tendency as you draw back, the weight kind of carries it over. So all we're going to look at doing here is adding weight to help you stabilize your bow quickly and get it to where you're not having a whole bunch of extra movement to level it out. A couple features that I like to incorporate in my setup is trying very similar to what you'd see on a 3D target setup or a paper shooter's target setup with a front bar, an adjustable offset bar, and position the weight. You can move the weight around a little bit and really get it to where you're fine-tuning your setup and it helps to balance your bow out as quickly as possible. Another option and another I like to use this setup as well. It's just a straight offset bracket, and all you do here is you take it and you mount that onto the front of your bow. And on this specific setup, I've got two stabilizers, one just screwed into the other through the bracket, and I can mount it right on there. This one's it finishes out a little bit smaller than this setup on my bow now is about 10 inches on the front and the back. It's about 3 ounces on each side. On a setup like this, again, you're just screwing your straight offset bracket into the bow, but you still have the ability to adjust for front and back with some weight, and you can position this, a little bit higher or a little bit lower based on where you need the weight to help balance it. So the important thing to remember here, if you can get to one of your local pro shop and see if they'll allow you to try a couple different setups on your bow. Draw back. As you draw back with your eyes closed. If you draw back with your eyes closed and your bow's still dipping over, you may need to look at adding a little bit more weight or kicking your bar out a little bit more to help counter it over. So trying some stabilizers out on the bow really helps. You don't want to add too much weight to where it really weighs it down. I mean, we got to carry this around, especially the guys that like to go way back, in the backcountry hunting. You're going to be carrying this around for quite a few days. So we're not looking to add a ton of weight. We're looking to add weight in the right place in the right way. So, try that out. Again, the benefits to proper stabilizer positioning is as you draw back on an animal. I mean, if you're drawing back and you're having to add a lot of movement into your setup to get it to level out, they're seeing all that. The other thing is in a train to hunt challenge scenario, if you've got certain targets where you got to draw back quick, get on target and shoot an arrow, you don't want to have to waste a whole bunch of extra energy or time, messing with leveling out your bow. If you know that you get it back and it's going to come back pretty straight right out the gate, all that helps in every scenario. So try it out, play with a couple different setups on your bow. Hopefully it helps you out with an upcoming hunt or your train to hunt challenge. And check us out on another train to hunt shooting tip.